The following podcast will contain spoilers for all aired episodes in HBO's Game of Thrones and all published books in George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series.
Other actress might have been a hero, and we'll never know her story now.
I mean, the other actress did try to have her killed, so she's no angel either.
Yeah, like her brother could have been the one who got cut up real bad, and she's like, I gotta save people.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to Fastest of Kingsgrave for our review episode of Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 8, No One. I'll be your host for the evening. My name is Adam, also known as drownedsnow on the podcast of Ice and Fire forums. And with me we have Greg.
Hello, this is Greg, claudiusthefool on the forums.
Bing.
Hi, this is Bing, Shoeshiner on the forums.
Matt.
Hey, this is Matt Varley on the forums.
Pod.
This is the first Paul, and I go by his Pod's Plight on the forums.
And the lesser Paul.
Hey, this is Small Paul. SerDinnerRoll on the forums.
Katie.
This is Katie, LadyGriffin on the forums.
Casey.
This is Casey, Blue-Eyed Queen on the forums.
Amber?
Well, sort of. I'm at the grocery store, but I'm Amberrocks in it, so...
Well, there we go. Lurking in the background. Okay, so after some technical difficulties, we are on the way. Let's start off with our lemon cake ratings for this episode. I don't think this is going to be the best. Let's see. I would give this a 2 out of 5. I just did not really enjoy it overall. Greg?
Pretty much what you said. It's at the point now where I'm just more laughing about things than getting angry about stuff or spoilers, because some of the dialogue is truly awful, and I don't know why they wasted time with some of the stuff, but it's I just want to see how they wrap it up, and that's what I'm looking forward to, some kind of resolution going forward. But I'll give it a 2.5 to be a little better.
Fair enough. Bing?
I think I'm giving it a 3.5, somewhere around there. I mean, I think I watched this episode after reading foreign comments, which is bad etiquette, but that made me have much less expectation for this episode. So I was just kind of roll with it, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was pretty dumb, but most of the show has been pretty dumb this season. So, yeah. So, and I liked some of it. So, yeah.
Matt.
So I think it's like a 2.5 to 3. Meereen remains hot garbage, even with Daenerys showing back up. On the other hand, Sandor and Jaime Edmure was fucking amazing. And, and everything else was meh. So, yeah, 2.5, 3, somewhere around there.
All right, Pod?
I'm going to give it a 4.1. 2 for Missandei's drowning translators, 2 for the Hound's negotiated murders, and 0.1 for Pod's magical rod. And I don't actually think it was over a 4 in rating, but ratings don't matter and it's all meaningless. So carry on. I'm enjoying the comedy.
All right, Casey.
I gave it a 3. I think, weirdly enough, this makes me think more highly of last week's episode. I think I gave that a low rating as well, and then this came along and I was just like, oh, okay.
You're like, oh yeah, this is what poor writing really looks like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't have much to say about it other than it just wasn't meeting my expectations.
All right, Katie?
I'll give it a 3. I'm still entertained, but it's amazing how every scene felt like it was rendering the entire season's worth of development for some characters completely meaningless. Like we'd been left in limbo by the end of this episode for some of these characters, and it's still frustrating, and I felt like I should have really liked Riverrun, but I think this episode made me realize that I just hate Ed Mears' actor for some ungraspable reason. Something about his face just really irritates me.
Because he's Blackjack Randall.
The crease down his cheek. It's very bothersome.
Yeah, I hated that dialogue with him and Jamie, but yeah, we'll get to that. It was okay.
What?
It's embarrassing, but like my favorite part of the episode was when Danny came through the door.
Oh god.
And then Drogon flew off in the background for some reason.
Drogon!
Drogon! Let's see. Small Paul?
I'm giving it a 2.75. Was not keen on the off-screen death of Blackfish. Just disappointed. And I'm waiting for Brienne and Pod to roll up next to Gendry.
Yeah. Blacksmith and Stannis are hanging out now together because they didn't die on screen.
Yeah, and this was just generally a poorly, I think, reviewed episode everywhere I looked. It had the lowest form score. The average was 2.8 for this episode. None of them this season has been below a 3. Yeah, I mean, that tells you a lot.
3.5. Just to be contrarian, I'll rate it a little higher. I thought it was perfectly fine. The only time I was a little disappointed by the Blackfish getting killed off screen. I mean, for goodness sake, he's important. And also, the Wafinator was actually the only time this season when I've gone, well, this is just fucking ridiculous out loud. The 45-minute chase scene was just too much. But it was, other than that, the Hound was awesome and badass, and it was all fine.
Meanwhile, there's someone in like the deli line next to Amber going, "Shut the fuck up! I haven't seen the episode yet."
What is she talking about?
Who are you talking to?
Yeah. Oh, she's probably just getting those weird looks. Okay, all right. Yeah, so it looks like we'll be going location by location as usual. We're going to start off in the Riverlands. Sandor, axe in tow, discovers some Brotherhood men in the woods and kills them quite brutally. I mean, I think the first guy he just straight hacks his head off with one swing, which is pretty badass. Let's see. As he searches for the companions, he comes across Beric Dondarrion and Thoros of Myr, who are both alive, as they prepare to hang the no goods. So apparently this was not the Brotherhood. This was just some Brotherhood of assholes who decided to do this on their own for some reason, and it kind of fits because they weren't very good at it. They left all the supplies on the floor. Beric agrees to let Sandor hang 2 of the men, which of course is not really what he wanted. Yeah, this was great. The whole bit of negotiating, you know, like give me 1, give me 2, you know, come on, I gotta be able to like maim him. Like,
right,
that was awesome.
Let me take off a hand. Like, let me cut him.
Yeah, come on. Like, okay, like look, they have to suffer just a little bit, right? Like, give me the dude in the yellow cloak. Come on.
I had one friend, and they literally killed him.
Yeah, and so this was very interesting just to kind of see a different aspect here. He didn't just go straight to hacking these guys apart because he realized that they didn't have anything to do with it, but he still wants his blood and kind of joins them at the end, I guess. That's what it's looking like.
Did anyone think he was going to be peeing on Caitlyn's corpse down in the river?
The thought crossed my mind.
But now kind of.
I was genuinely happy when they showed up. Like, probably my favorite part of the last couple episodes was just seeing the Beric and Thoros back. Wasn't expecting it.
I thought you were going to say something completely different, Greg.
What, about the Hound's dick? Is that what you were going? We didn't see anything.
We saw some.
God, did we? I didn't see anything.
Casey, were you playing I Spy?
Hot prosthetic action. Pause.
With
What is it? He tells one of the guys, he's like, "You're terrible at dying." Like,
yeah, who were those guys? I don't remember like the Hound ever seen them before, because I didn't even know these guys were just like Brotherhood, or were they Brotherhood? I don't even know. The first
guys?
The fingering guy and his buddies.
No,
that scene was
like
fucking
companions.
unnecessary.
Axe murder.
The dancing lessons. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like, I don't even.
Lessons.
I didn't even.
We were
know
supposed to establish that these guys are jerks, and like, oh, see how horrible they are. But they just murdered a bunch of people building a church, so I think that had adequately done that already. But
yeah, but
whatever.
I didn't even know these guys were part of the Brotherhood, because it was just 4 guys in the woods fingering each other, and all of a sudden the Hound walks up and kills them. It's like a horror movie.
It was definitely like a horror movie.
I love Barrick's voice, though. Like, I can listen to him say anything. I think he has the best voice of any Game of Thrones character.
So, they're going up to fight the others? Is that what we got?
Yep, those 6 of them.
All right.
Yeah, how do they know about that? Can Thoros see things in the fire?
He keeps on bringing Barrick back from the dead. I think he has some special powers there.
He keeps him hidden in his man bun.
I don't know why I find that so...
That's where his magic ruby is hidden, where he's actually an old guy, but keeps him looking young.
He's actually bald.
That's where his magic is all going to his long hair.
So, anything else to say about this scene?
I did appreciate the chicken joke. The Hound and the chicken.
He prefers chicken.
So who wants to take us to Riverrun? Greg?
Brienne and Podrick arrive in Jaime's camp and are accosted by a pack of outriders. They are allowed inside the camp, and Bronn reunites with Podrick, and they talk fighting and fucking as usual. Brienne meets with Jaime and says she has come to get the Blackfish. They agree that if Brienne can convince the Blackfish to abandon the castle by nightfall, Jaime will let the Tully men leave unharmed. Brienne tries to give Oathkeeper back to Jaime, but he tells her to keep it. Blackfish lets Brienne inside Riverrun, but refuses to let the castle go. He accepts that the letter is from Sansa, and gets a little emotional at the similarity to Catelyn that he reads, but refuses to give up his home. I wouldn't say they were accosted by outriders. Those outriders were just doing their job.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, did they even come within like 5 feet, really?
Let's analyze and pick apart Zach's awesome symbols.
Yeah, with I kind of agreed with Blackfish a little bit, because we've never seen Blackfish with Sansa, and so when he gets the letter, he's like, "Who's this again?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's probably familiar to the show watchers."
And how did Brienne even get in there? Why would he lower the drawbridge for a random, just being like, "I want to come in and talk to you"?
Well, she had a letter with a seal on it, and I mean they opened it earlier to talk to Jaime, and they just keep opening this door. Like, it seems they're really stir crazy in there.
Siege is a dull affair.
Did anyone really hate the Bronn and Pod scene? Or at least, okay, I didn't hate it, I just felt like it went on twice as long as it needed to be.
Yeah, I agree. It was good to see the buddies
Tom.
back together, but...
There were 9 scenes that went on too long in this episode.
Yeah, and we didn't need Bronn being like, "Hey, magic cock, nice to see you again." Like, we get that. That joke is kind of, it's old.
Right.
Way to fondle that boy, Bronn.
It felt very much like they had contractual obligations to have more scenes for these two characters, so they had to cook up something on the back burner real quick.
Yeah, and what about Jaime? I think the big thing I took from this season, this season, but also just this scene in particular, is that the Jaime seance kind of that ended abruptly, and now he's all 100% back into Cersei, and here he's just like, "Oh, well, I sent you off. I assumed Sansa was dead. I was just kind of getting rid of you." It's all very much, I don't know. It seems.
Yeah, they're doing as much as they can
weird.
to destroy the good character that he's, the other direction for a while.
And it almost looks like they're taunting book readers with Jaime and Brienne, because the only mention we get to them maybe being in a relationship is fucking Bronn going, "Oh yeah, I ship those two." Yeah,
that's pretty much what he says.
So weird. So weird.
"Oh, you think they're fucking in there?" And Pod's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and then he's like, "Hey, you ain't giving it to her yet, are you? Come on, magic dick." Like, what?
Magic dick.
I mean, I guess that's how Bronn would react, but
This does feel like, and I guess tying this into the very last Riverrun scene that we haven't talked about yet, but it does feel like this is the last time that Jaime and Brienne are probably going to see each other.
Mm-hmm.
Definitively, it feels like this is all we're getting, and it's a bit of a bummer, but I guess I did get a bit of an emotion when he's like, "Now you get to keep the sword in my heart."
No, because now the moral of the story is always pick incest over other relationships.
No, but the problem, and maybe it's the acting too, is because he's committing so well to the devil may care attitude, and then he also really commits to the kind of like the tender, the walls have come down for a moment, and well, I hope we don't have to fight, like
Tinder. Is that what you said?
Yeah, he swiped whichever. I can never remember. He swiped one of the directions up.
I'm pretty sure up is not one of the directions.
I know.
We get it. You're not on Tinder.
Whatever.
And that metal hand wouldn't work on Tinder anyway.
All right, let's move on then. To maybe the best scene in this episode, arguably. Jamie meets with Edmure, and we get kind of a little bit of the piss pants scene from the books. He's trying to get his cooperation to get into the castle. Jamie promises him a place at Castle Rock with his wife and son, which I haven't seen yet, and his wife, which he hasn't seen since their wedding night, apparently. And he would, he would basically be a prisoner, but he would live comfortably. Edmure is not really into that, and he attacks Jamie for his past misdeeds. Unrattled, Jamie says that his only goal is to get back to Cersei. All that matters is my sweet sister, he says. Let's see. He says that he would even fling Edmure's son in a catapult if it comes to that. Despite the Blackfish's protests, because the Blackfish is not an idiot, the Tully soldiers are like, Edmure's totally my boss, and they let him in for some really stupid reason. And Edmure proceeds to order them all to give up, and the Lannister forces march right in, and Jamie takes the castle without bloodshed. Well, almost without bloodshed. The Blackfish decides, well, I don't know how to swim anymore, so time to die off screen. And he goes to a, noble, pointless, however you want to call it, death.
Off screen.
And yeah, it's unfortunate. And I mean, he does say that he's probably going to look like a fool because he hasn't had a battle in a while. So, maybe it was just too embarrassing to show us, I guess. And Jamie is the only person watching the water, apparently. There's no one out in his camp watching the water. The dimly lit water. All the fires are out, and he just sadly, watches Brienne float away with Pod, and he gives her the golden hand. The end.
Also, we learned that Edmure's been a prisoner for years, and yet somehow he still has an infant son.
Well,
does it say years?
He said, he held me for years.
If he was there for 2 years, there could be a year of pregnancy. Well, 9 months of pregnancy, and then
10
a
months.
year of, and then a year of being a baby.
Either way, it didn't feel like years went by between the last 2 seasons.
No.
Well, Gilly's kid is still like fucking like 1.
Yeah, but all the young characters have aged up quite a bit. So.
Well, he's 2 months old in the books, guys. They had to age him up to be 9 months old in the TV show. So.
Rickon's like 25. Jesus.
The seed is strong. Rickon's dead.
He is.
He is no dead.
I thought
I hope not.
the Edmure Jamie scene, I found that the thread of their discussion really discombobulated, but also really frustrating because, and here we go with the book comparisons, but the reasons why that scene is interesting in the books is that he's caught between trying to be honorable and trying to be his dad. And it's like, they could have actually given him an arc, because he's wearing Tywin's armor, the subtext is there, and he's clearly conflicted, he has visible emotions on his face when he's being asked, how do you think of yourself as a decent person? And before he goes and he says these terrible things, there's a lot of rich text and subtext to work with, but they just haven't given him anything for seasons, and I don't get it. I really don't understand what they're doing with him.
What?
Well,
complex storytelling? Not in this show, madam.
They did send him to Dorne, so that pretty much fucked up, his whole arc.
We can again direct listeners to our full castle recording of this scene where they have these talks and things. That's much more fun. I don't remember what episode number that is, but you could find it if you looked hard enough.
Yeah, and you get you get the backstory, and you get the, with the singer, and he's playing the Reigns of Castamere, and that's a lot more intense, I guess.
Isn't that the singer Thomas Evans? Or
Mm-hmm.
whatever?
Yes.
Mm.
Who doesn't really exist. So.
No,
just in your mind.
The Brotherhood is not going to be fucking up the phrase or anyone. They're going to go fight
The Brotherhood
others.
is like 5 guys now, and they're just kind of chilling, looking for food.
Open a burger joint.
I see what you did there.
No, chicken.
I'll
Chicken.
sit down.
Again.
Have we ever seen Lannister soldiers with their masks closed ever? Because I think
Yes.
when they're storming a castle, they'd have their masks closed, but they're all just.
Oh, they were in King's Landing. They were rolling around with masks closed all the time.
It's been
Well,
a
they
while.
do look stupid though.
Well, they don't know they're samurais.
Yeah, wasn't there?
Oh, my.
Didn't someone make up like a backstory for like Fred and Gary, the 2 guys that were always guarding Sansa in King's Landing? Like, there's only 2 Lannister guardsmen.
Well, and if you talk to like the extras behind the scenes, that's kind of there's not that many of them. But I don't know. I thought it feels like a real waste. Just all of this. They clearly wanted to have this, I guess, for Jaime's arc.
But what's the
and
arc?
I mean,
There's no arc. It's
yeah, I don't
just
know really. I don't
person.
really know.
He's committed to Cersei. That's the arc.
They're not going to do anything with Edmure, right? But they had to have him out of the city, so maybe this is just to show what he's doing and how he's he's back in the lion armor and all that. So, which they still haven't really acknowledged that what exactly he is, which he should be the Lord of House Lannister, right?
I guess the big thing is that they
Right.
need him to get back to King's Landing with the Lannister armies, because obviously some shit's going to go down there between the Tyrells and the Faith, and it'll be good that he has an army with him rather than just him coming back after an unsuccessful siege.
Do you
It
think?
was successful. They got
I'm
the
saying
castle.
now it is, but like if he just came back on his own, or if he couldn't get it done, that would have been less. But,
Yeah,
like,
we'll get
that's
to
the reason
that,
they had
but
to wrap it up so fast.
I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really know what good any of that's going to do, but
I just had a horrifying
I feel like you.
theory that.
Uh-oh.
So
Do tell.
Horrify us, Katie.
okay, so in the book, Jaime he takes Riverrun, and then his last chapter in Feast for Crows, before Brienne shows up or whatever, it starts to snow. And that's kind of, I think that's the first point in the book where it's kind of like winter has encroached into the south, and then in Dance with Dragons we get the whole Pycelle opening the window and getting the White Raven. What if they combine those 2 scenes, and that's like the last scene of the season is winter is here in the south, but instead of killing Pycelle, for some reason Varys sneaks in and shoots Jaime. I don't know why, but...
Well, he's definitely not killing Pycelle, because no one gives 2 shits about Pycelle.
Who?
Kevin maybe, but yeah. No, someone's got to
Kevin.
die. No one's died yet. Someone has to die.
I'm just
We
thinking,
gotta
like,
do
they're
it.
not doing anything...
all
Rickon.
have to die.
Like, I'm just thinking of, like, how they could conflate things, and since Pycelle is just a non-entity, and Jaime's character is shit, I'm like, they could have him look out the window, it's snowing, oh shit, snow in the south, turn around, boom, arrow in the breastplate, done.
And no one's going to care if Kevin dies, because no one even knows who the fuck Kevin is.
He's that
Yeah.
smart ass.
I mean, I feel like
he's-
they're definitely doing deaths just for shock value. I mean, they've always kind of done that, but it's typically followed along with the books. But I think here, like the Blackfish, they brought him back for what? Just like Asha, they brought her back for what? To kill her. I mean, it just seems like anyone they're bringing back is just going to die an episode later. They need people to kill.
They're killing side characters because they want to clear the deck. They want to get rid of as many named characters as possible.
Yeah, but I mean, the Blackfish was plenty clear, right? It was the last
Right.
time we saw
Yeah,
him,
but-
right?
Yeah,
So-
but that was a thread that they left open, so they feel like they might close it. I think that's their thinking process.
I mean, like I said, they probably needed him to set up this whole siege, which is maybe just ends up being filler, and that's what they wanted. I don't really know, because it would have been more interesting to have him, in 20 Good Men, swim out the gate, and all of a sudden they're up there in the north. But
yeah, but they want to get rid of him.
Yeah.
yeah,
Presumably-
but I know I get
I
that.
don't
It's
think-
just you
I
just
don't
didn't have
think-
to reintroduce it.
Well, yeah, but
But he's a useful piece to connect, give Jaime something to do and give Brienne something to do, and just keep these people walking around because you don't have anything else for them to do. So he's a nice piece to put in the middle. And
These
And
are his
sort of-
men, right? Like
They're Riverrun men.
he led the recapture of Riverrun. I mean, these people should really be his men, more than Edmure's men. And it seems like to a man, they all just kind of ignored him as soon as Edmure showed up. Which
we didn't get Utharide's Wayne. If Utharide's Wayne was there, he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I felt like to have the Blackfish object is great because it shows that he's not an idiot. But then to have no one back him up doesn't make sense to me either.
Well, all those guys got to live instead of be killed, so bonus for them.
No, but I mean, it would make more sense if the Blackfish was like, all right, bring him in, and then once he proposes it, he's like, no, this is stupid or something, and they're like, well, he's here, he's the Lord now, and then at that point they, because he made a very compelling argument, but
they already knew his plan. His plan was to have them all fight to the death, and then anything is a bonus to that if they're going to have Edmure tell him something else.
But they all seemed ready for that. They all seemed down to just never give up, right?
Well, no one ever asked them. We didn't get their insight, but we can assume one way or the other.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, if you're going to retake this castle, like that's kind of what you're signing up for in the first place.
Did anyone else think when he refused a spot on like Brienne and Pod's boat that he was gonna like choose to swim instead? Because for a second I'm like, is he just gonna like dive in after them and just paddle along next to him?
A fish doesn't need a boat.
He might have done that.
Would have been a bad idea in full armor, but he did it.
But he's a fish.
He just has
those scales help you float.
He just has a long reed, and he just walks along the bottom of the river with a long reed going up so he can breathe.
Also, I think that's the same scene, like the same set from when Jaime and Tyrion escaped in season 3 from King's Landing. It was like the exact same scene. Like we've seen that in a lot of movies. But.
So much like they reused the Stannis' fleet for the Master's fleet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why did Edmure ask for the Blackfish in chained? Didn't he ask for him to be like arrested?
That must have been a condition that Jaime said was, everyone gets to live, but the Blackfish has to pay the price, has to go to prison. I don't know.
I guess, but
got community service to do.
Which leads me to another question: is who killed the Blackfish? Was it Tully men? Because the last time we hear it was like, go get him, like to a Tully, not to a Lannister.
No. But he's walking off as the Lannisters and the Freys are coming in, and he's like, well, time to go. It's not the Tully men. He just clearly is, gonna go kill a couple Freys or Lannisters, and that's the end of it. I mean, it would have been nice to see that, right? Like we wouldn't be asking this question, but
right.
I thought that was the implication. Do we have anything else to say about Riverrun? I mean, I feel like there was a lot kind of going on here. That should have been.
Did Brienne and Pod stay in Riverrun and never report if they succeeded or failed back to Jaime? Because why were they still having to sneak out?
They didn't leave. And I mean, I think that was her point when she said going in was that, well, if you choose to attack and, I'm in there, I'm honor bound to stand with them. And so I think if she was successful, the gates would have been opened and she would have said, okay, let them leave and you guys have the castle. Otherwise she just stays in there with. And yeah, once she sent the Raven to Sansa saying that she failed, it's her, like, you can't just say, hey, can you open the gate again for me? They're opening it a lot, but they're not opening it for everyone, right? Let's move on to King's Landing.
Ugh.
Okay. Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, we get to see his spine get ripped out, though.
So, Lord Commander of the Faith Militant, Lancel, arrives with orders to take Cersei back to the Sept. And Cersei's like, what the hell? And realizes that, obviously, Tommen is the one who let these people in. And she goes to get Sir Gregor, who proceeds to rip a dude's spine out. And afterwards, the rest of the sparrows in their robes decide that maybe they aren't well equipped for this. Because the first guy hit him, and clearly that armor is not very good, but clearly punctured through that armor and should have drawn blood, but didn't do anything. So, yeah, something's not right there. And afterwards, she walks off with Qyburn, and they head to the courtroom, where we see Tommen is about to give a speech. It's later in the episode, and she wants to take her place next to the king, even though she's clearly been set aside from that. And Kevin's like, nah, you in the gallery. And he gets real sassy about it. Kevin's enjoying this way too much. I don't really understand what he's into. But anyway,
that's what bothered me. Was that like shouldn't he be on, if not on Cersei's side, on the Lannister's side? And because he's trying to get his son back.
Yeah. So now we get the big kind of reveal of the episode that we weren't expecting. Is that the High Sparrow has met with Tommen, and he announces that Cersei's got to go to trial along with Loras, and trial by combat. That's just not cool. That's right out. We're not doing that anymore.
No more Clegane Bowl.
Yep. Screw you guys. Yep. So that happened.
You didn't see that scene where Tommen looked at the camera and said, "No Clegane Bowl, sorry." That was I didn't like that.
Don't we have a bet on this?
Oh yeah, what was the bet? Was I involved?
Yeah,
Did I just
you
lose
were.
$1,000? Wait a minute, do I have to edit one of your episodes?
You said you were going to edit my Full Castle recording, Greg.
No, I said I was going to edit the next Twin Peaks episode. Nice.
It is not decided.
You promised.
I specifically mentioned Twin Peaks. Full Castle recordings are a whole other thing.
Anyway, I thought Cersei was awesome in this scene. I really enjoyed it. There's no one left to root for, so I'm like, yeah, go Cersei. Kill the faithful.
Like, oh my god, I'm rooting for Cersei now. Like, I feel bad for her. What have you done to me?
I just want to see more gore and blood, just of ripping out people's spines from Frank and Gregor. That was a redeeming factor for me. I'm just like, oh.
Why do you all keep saying he ripped out his spine? I thought he just like pulled his jaw and ripped his head off. No spine.
Well, he ripped his head off, but his spine came with it.
I didn't see that.
Jesus.
It was
Sure. We need to go pause and check.
Pause and slow speed.
Yeah.
It was a fun scene to get, but, it was pointless in the end for them to play that card too early. They should have waited.
What is she says something to Qyburn at the end that indicates that she has some sort of alternate plan, which I'm suspecting is wildfire.
Yeah, didn't they mention something about like rumors or something like that?
Yeah, I don't remember.
And Qyburn's like, "Oh, you have no idea how big it is," or something. I forget.
Yeah,
I don't know what they were talking about.
Well,
I assumed it was Tyrion, but no. More immediate.
Oh.
Can we get someone to say Fire's the champion of Cersei Lannister?
Oh boy.
I don't think it is though.
Oh, darn.
Wildfire, but Wow.
Yeah,
I don't.
Sit down, Kevin.
She's got her Qyburn's got his little candy birds off investigating stuff. So
Sugared plums, Adam. Sugared plums.
Indeed. Whatever Marjorie's plan is, it doesn't seem like it's coming off very well so far. Because with her, like, I'm working undercover.
I think she's powerless. I don't really know if she has a plan other than to get out of prison and hopefully get her brother out alive.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, she's just telling her grandmother to go away, and she's kind of full in on this, pretending, and she's reading the 7-Pointed Star every day, and you would think that she could have been like, okay, Tom, and now that we're out, you need to handle this.
Was she even in this scene? I don't even remember seeing her.
No, she wasn't.
No, she wasn't here.
She's still playing her game. She's gonna get the small folk on their side.
We know she's got to, perform her marital duties. Apparently, that seems to be her role. So.
This whole thing makes me think that my whole theory about all the Lannisters dying is just not going to happen. There's just not enough time for it to happen, and I'm kind of sad.
If everyone goes up in flames, it'll happen very easily.
They all die.
Then we won't have to deal with King's Landing anymore.
I just have this idea of all these actors jumping out of windows as the red keep burns, like, freedom! At last!
If you're jumping out of a window on fire, I don't think you can be yelling freedom.
No, just
they've got their contract in hand.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
They've got boat payments to make, but otherwise, yeah. Get out while you still can.
They all bought boats?
Oh, it's so hard having to shoot in Spain every year, right?
So hard.
Oh, the worst.
Well, I assume a lot of people in the North are going to die next episode, so we'll hopefully get some of those deaths, but
Rickon.
probably not going to be who we think.
Rickon.
Why do you keep on saying Rickon? That makes me sad.
Because him and Tormund are going to bite it next episode.
Stop it.
I'm betting it.
Just stop
He's
it.
subconsciously planning for it.
Tormund's
There's not gonna be a
red beard
battle
is going to be
north,
red
guys.
from blood.
It's all going to be in someone's head. That was your theory, right, Greg?
Yeah, it's just a brand vision. They're all gonna, someone's gonna stab Ramsay. It'll be fine.
What if they don't?
I feel like I need proof of life on Rickon the last few episodes, and they're not giving it to me, so he's probably already dead, and
we haven't seen him for more than 24 hours, so it's time to call the police.
Send a photo with him holding a newspaper.
Get the King's Justice on the phone. Yeah.
We're missing Rickon and Zach Finger.
So, without a trial to fight, what is Frank and Gregor going to do? Just go kill random people?
Hopefully.
Die? Like, he'll go down swinging?
He'll disguise himself as one of the Septons and completely just sway the entire
So,
trial.
wait, why hasn't Tommen tried to remove him from the King's Guard?
He's fucking scary,
I don't
man.
know.
Yeah. Who's going to go and tell him that?
And
who replaced Jamie?
No one yet.
No one knows how many men are on the King's Guard. Sometimes we see 5, sometimes there's 3. It doesn't matter. Like, no one's actually keeping track. No one
And it's
cares.
always
12
different
good
people.
men.
It's just extras that are on the
Yeah,
King's
like, there's
Guard
no one
now.
you recognize anymore except for Jamie and
Jamie's
Greg.
not even more.
That is a good point that they'd never recognized that Jamie, if he's not Kingsguard anymore, then isn't he? He's Lord Lannister of.
Right.
It should be,
Casterly,
yeah.
Why isn't he?
Unless
calling
there's some sort of
shots?
extenuating circumstances. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good
But-
point, Katie.
And haven't people been, like, addressing him as Sir Jamie instead of just Lord Jamie?
I think they said Lord at one point in this episode, but mostly Sir, yeah.
Well, I guess news hasn't reached out yet.
I'm angry that nobody has brought this up in the show yet.
Sorry we failed you, Katie.
No, not you guys. I mean, like that.
On screen.
On screen.
I could never be angry at you guys. No.
So I like. So the women in the gallery, was it because like Cersei's kind of toxic, or were they scared of the mountain? Because they all kind of
No,
like
that's the-
comically shifted to the right.
I feel like he probably smells too.
I was
Like
just
you
gonna
think,
say that he can't smell.
you think Gregor has a smell to him, and Cersei just doesn't care because she likes watching spines get ripped out. But
His skin is purple. He definitely smells.
what do we really think is going on here with the whole banning of the trial? Is this going to stick? At least for the show, like I don't. Is this going to be a book thing somehow? I mean, I guess it could be.
I don't think
Well,
it's a book thing.
no, it's not
I
a
mean,
book
at
thing.
some point
It's
they're
gonna be
come
like
for
Judge
her,
Judy.
And Gregor's gonna go crazy and kill people.
Yeah, because I mean, it didn't make any sense to me after the last episode. The Hound, like, how was he going to get to King's Landing? That's why I thought maybe he'd have to meet up with Jamie and Brienne, but that doesn't. I don't know what they're doing with the Hound now at all. So,
Right.
I mean,
Well-
he could hear from somewhere that that people think the mountain is on the King's Guard, and that could send him to go kill his brother. That have nothing to do with the trial.
Yeah, I suppose, but I mean, I think it's more plausible in the books just because Tommen is younger and more impressionable. Like, I'm totally not buying that. Like, he got brainwashed so quickly by the High Sparrow.
Well, I want them to show me some magic where the High Sparrow's got like something that like messes with people's heads or something.
Well,
I
he
don't
is
think
Howland
that-
Reed.
I don't get it.
I don't think that that Tommen's necessarily brainwashed. I think he's more just like, okay, this is what Marjorie wants, and I don't really trust my mom right now, so I think I'm just gonna do this. Like, I feel like he's not like completely
again,
on board with it either, but he's just doing. He's literally just. I think
He's
his
happy to
whole
make
life-
decisions.
Yeah, and he's like. He's
No, I
always
don't-
been like told what to do, so he's just gonna keep on being told what to do. It's the easiest thing for him to do rather than actually make decisions.
I can get that, but I can't understand where Kevin and Marjorie are coming from in all this. What their end game is going to be. I mean, if she thinks they're saying that Loras has to basically be stripped and renounce his claim on Highgarden, and what are they going to do? Give it to some Septon or something? I don't really understand what their idea is there. But he can still go live at Highgarden and live out his life, and in penitence or whatever. I mean, is she thinking as soon as he gets out of there, they can just mount an army and everyone's safe and she can flip? Because she's giving the city to them. Like this, you can't reverse some of these things they're doing.
I think that's her idea, but like maybe I don't know. I feel like she's still there. She has some kind of plan, whether it works or fails. I think that she has something up her sleeve. Kevin, I have no idea what the fuck's going on there.
He just enjoys everything that's going. He's like the yes man for Tommen. He's just like, yeah, you're so good at this, man.
Yeah,
You're a good king. Yeah.
I think he just really hates Cersei for some absurd reason. He's just like, anything that goes against Cersei, I'm gonna laugh at her.
All right, I think we're ready to move on then. That long break in silence. Let's head over to Meereen and awesome stuff. Yeah. Casey, you got that for me?
Sure.
Casey, tell a joke. Come on.
What is joke?
No. I
You
can't.
should have known that we were going to ask you to tell a joke.
No.
You need wine? You need wine?
do-
Is this gonna be my thing now? I don't want this to be my thing.
Do you need like a
Hey, be
dwarf
happy
and a
you have a
eunuch
thing.
for telling jokes?
Honestly, I got nothing. I'm sorry.
I heard the Higgs boson one today. That was fun. I didn't hear that one yet.
Higgs boson one?
Oh,
What?
God.
What?
Do I even want to know?
No, it's a funny. The Higgs boson goes to mass, and the priest says, "Hey, we don't allow Higgs bosons in here. Get out of here." And he said, "But without me, you couldn't have mass."
Uh-huh.
Thanks,
That's
Greg.
God particle.
There you go, Casey. I got your back on this one. Go ahead.
Oh,
Quick,
thanks,
get your recap.
Thanks, Greg. So, Meereen, Tyrion walks the city with Varys, admiring how well all of his plans have worked out as the Red Priest preach for Dany. Varys leaves on a mission, ostensibly to secure allies and ships. Tyrion returns to the pyramid and tries to pressure Grey Worm and Missandei into drinking, and this time he succeeds. They talk and tell jokes, but they are interrupted by the arrival of a fleet led by the Masters, and the ships begin bombarding the city. Tyrion and Grey Worm argue over strategy, but are interrupted by the arrival of Daenerys Targaryen.
Dragon!
Bracken!
It was pretty great. I burst out laughing when they run to the balcony and they're just being catapulted by a fleet. It's like, God, like, how bad of a negotiator is Tyrion that this went south so far?
And his excuse is, "My bad." Like, that's pretty much
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
He's like,
on
you can
me.
go to the beach and head them off. And Grey Worm's like, shut up.
I'm just
Okay.
like,
I'm
so confused on like what kind of like hard on the showrunners have for the just idea of ships this year, because like, oh, we need ships, oh, we need 1,000 ships, well, the Euron's got billions, and then
Right.
the Masters have ships.
Yeah, and Varys is going to get ships, but someone's actually delivering more ships to us with fire.
Is that what Varys doing?
Varys
Well, the
went
problem-
out on a ship to get ships, but what?
The problem is that they responded to all the fandom saying that they were ruining all their ships, so they said, we're going to give you as many ships as we can get.
They've had like 10 times as many ships as they needed to leave, like over the course of this show.
Yeah, they
Like-
get ships, lose them, get next one, lose them, then Euron.
It feels
saves the
like
day.
it's like Gilligan's Island. Like, you know, we're just gonna keep giving them ways off, but they're never
Oh
gonna
my
use them.
god.
Does that mean the Harlem Globetrotters are going to pop up in one of those ships?
Fingers
Right.
crossed, man.
It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same fleet, but the sails instead are just gonna have the red, white, and blue.
Straight.
If the Harlem Globetrotters can go to North Korea, they can go to Meereen.
The technology and physics of those ships that can launch flaming balls of fire forever and ever.
Yeah,
impressive.
and not only
Started.
that, but like when they started hitting the pyramid, I just like laughed out loud.
Where's
And
Alex?
It's just like, you gotta be kidding me.
You know?
Like I was looking for cannons or something on there. Like, what is going on? Like,
I was looking
cruise
for
missile
Gendry.
next.
Yar! We're gonna get our slaves back.
It's
There are like catapult ships in history and stuff, but they were usually used, you know, for against ship to ship combat. But
Shut up, Greg.
oh, come on!
Ooh.
Personal attacks.
Katie is fed up.
You can just a city in a boat.
She has verbalized her size.
It's crazy to me that the concept is these ships are going to sit here and just completely destroy the city from the bay by launching some fire from catapults that go way farther than they should be, and then when Dany does show up, she's just like, hey, what's going on? Instead of, oh, I see all of these ships in the bay, let me breathe fire on them with my dragon that I have now tamed.
Well, she
that's
sent
what
Drogon to do
was
that
at.
after.
Did she send him to do that, or did he just fly off and was like, I'm bored?
No, it's a. Yeah, I think he'll attack him.
I hope he will. But we
I don't know if
probably
we'll do
won't
it
find
next
out
week.
next episode.
No, next
So,
week is just Battle in the North.
Yeah, I think next week
Is that
going to
it?
be one location. Well, all of the previews for next week were just in the north, so I think everything we see hanging here won't happen until the finale.
I completely forgot
Sorry.
Tyrion was
It
in the
isn't.
show.
But he's the most famous dwarf in the world.
In
Oh
the
god,
world.
I hated that line. That is the worst storyline ever.
They don't know what to do with him, and they don't know how to block a scene with him anymore unless he's pouring wine for somebody. I hated the scene between him and Grim. That
He
is
was standing when he told that joke.
That
Now
is-
that I've reviewed the footage, he was
Oh
standing.
boy.
that is his arc for the season, was getting them to lighten the fuck up. What is
Yep,
this?
To have a conversation. Yeah.
He
I
was
don't know-
basically like the book A Dance with Dragons in Meereen. Like, it just went nowhere and didn't really do it. Like, didn't.
We at least
Didn't
got
do anything.
Clinton out of that.
So we avoided.
Yeah, that's true.
We avoided like the book plot of Dopey Tyrion travelogue that was just kind of the worst, and we substituted it with this.
Dopey Tyrion stay-a-log. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather see, like,
Joker-thon.
Honestly, I would have rather just seen Dopey Tyrion's travel log, because I guarantee I would have enjoyed it definitely more than him just sitting at a table and just being awkward as fuck. I do that enough in my real life. I don't need that in my fantasies.
Fantasy is supposed to be escapist.
So do you think one of the horrors that he gave the Masters was the girl that Varys got hired?
Oh, I thought you said
Is that going anywhere?
I was saying horrors.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Oh,
Hooers. She's a hooer.
Horrors?
He was saying who?
I'm not really
Yeah.
sure what better option for Tyrion would be, because he can't really do anything, go above and beyond the other character's story, because he has to wait for Dany to get back, and so he's kind of just stuck doing nothing. So I don't really know what they should have done with him.
Yeah, I didn't
Just
hate
exclude Meereen.
I didn't hate this scene as much as I did the previous scenes, as much as everyone did. I mean, I thought it was actually a little, it was awkward, but it was, I think they were playing for awkward in all of these scenes, and here, to me, it worked a little bit. And then the jokes were kind of, I just thought it was kind of silly. But yeah,
Sandy was
Tyrion's-
at least having fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No, I agree with you, Adam, actually. I kind of liked how Miss Sandy especially opened up a little bit, and she was kind of smiling and a little bit happier than normal.
She was drunk.
Yeah, super
Yeah,
lightweight,
yeah.
half a cup of wine.
Yeah, finally got them some drinking.
But I did enjoy it more than the rest of these kinds of scenes that we've gotten this season.
But I think a lot of people are reacting to the culmination of these scenes, and then it feels like Tyrion's plot was wasted. And I mean, it
Right.
really was just filler. And yeah, he didn't, I guess, accomplish anything. But I don't know. Maybe he did buy some time. I mean, because technically Dany is here now, and maybe they would have attacked sooner, or maybe they would have kept attacking the city. I mean, how much time has passed? Do we think?
I don't know why they bothered.
Years have passed.
It's
I
been
don't know why they
months,
bothered
right?
bargaining
As much-
when they could have just
Months of
used their
peace.
super.
As much time as it took the boats to get from Iron Islands to Atlantis.
So about 3 years.
Oh, 5 hours.
Yeah.
Outboard
boy.
voters.
His 7-year plan is completely moot at this point, right?
Yeah. What,
After like
Yeah. I'd say they broke the truce there.
I have a question. Do we think we're gonna be still in Meereen all next season? Like Euron?
Oh god,
Fucking
no.
I hope
Jesus,
not.
probably.
Because I'm thinking, if next episode is all in the north, we only have one episode to tie. Like, if Yara gets there, Euron has to get there, their little subplot has to wrap up somehow. I could see that wasting a good 9 episodes of the next season while Dany, fidgets and it's like, how do I leave?
So you're
This is
assuming-
season 6, right? This is season 6?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was originally supposed to only be 7, so there's no way that. Yeah, there's no way that they're.
Yeah,
they-
and as fast as
they
they're
have to be
doing
active
the
with
travel, they don't have to do that. You're assuming that all that has to go down in Meereen. I feel like, we may not even get Euron and his fleet until next season, but maybe Yara shows up this season.
Oh, for sure
and
she
they,
does.
They take but I'm saying they take out the fleet. Now she's got a horde of Dothraki. Maybe they start west into this season or beginning of next season. I don't know. That would make sense. And then maybe they meet up against Euron somewhere in the water.
Yeah, I was kind of going to say, maybe my kind of prediction with this would be that they head out and the cliffhanger, because I feel like episode 10 is going to be kind of like last season where it was just a bunch of cliffhanger after murder after. I feel like it's just going to be a lot of that again, but I feel like we're just going to like see them come upon each other in the ocean, and it's going to be like, and now we do this and fight.
Let us do it. The waif has been sent back in time to eliminate Arya. Go.
All right. After an enhanced performance, Lady Crane finds Arya bleeding out behind the wardrobe rack. She takes her home and uses her superpowers to tend to her wounds and tells her to join the acting troupe. Arya says it would be too dangerous and that she would rather travel and see the edge of the world. Lady Crane gives her milk of the poppy to help her recover because apparently that shit cures everything. When Arya wakes, she finds Lady Crane impaled with a chair, and the waif has come to finish her off. Arya leaps out the window like fucking Assassin's Creed, and a long, pointless chase ensues. Arya manages to evade the waif and gets her blood all over some fruit, but is cornered in the same room where she hid Needle. Way to fucking go, Arya. She draws her blade, cuts the candle, and turns to confront her opponent. Sometime later, Jaqen finds the waif's face hanging on the wall. How Arya got back around here and how she so skillfully tore someone's face off, I'll never know. Jaqen congratulates her for finally becoming no one, but Arya disagrees and claims her full name for herself and her intention to return to Westeros. She turns to leave, and Jaqen watches her go, smiling. He has taught her much.
What?
His work is done. This all made sense, right?
Yeah, no plot holes here, right, guys?
Oh boy.
Where's the Faceless Men Oversight Committee that's like, you're not doing your job?
It's just Faceless Man. There's only one of them.
Faceless
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he's like the last assassin there.
And he's kind of the worst. The evidence has mounted all
Not as
season.
bad as the waif.
Yeah, the wave is
Well,
the worst.
The
Yeah, the waif is
the
awful.
waif is dead now, and she was a faceless woman. Anyway.
Well, you remember Jaqen killed himself last season, so this is like Jaqen 3.0 of some sort.
Or was it?
We don't know. But it's so silly. How is she no one now? Is he just like whipping
Yeah.
stuff out of the manual? Like, oh shit, she's clearly off the book here. I need to. We're gonna boost your membership to gold. Just.
Like, was that his last ditch like sales effort? You know, he'd be like, hey, you finally made it to no one, right? Do you want to sign that 12-month contract, right? Please, please. She's like, I'm canceling my gym membership. Screw you.
This is so silly. I kind of loved
It
it.
just, it didn't make any sense.
It was amusing.
And all season, he's like, now we're gonna lose no one. And he's just like, oh, you're doing so well. And all season, I've been like, she still seems a lot like Arya. And it doesn't really seem like she's committed. No, I don't know if she's committed. And now she, like, is the most Arya she's been since before she came there. And he's
Also-
like, now a girl is no one. And she's like, man, now a Jaqen is an idiot. Like, what is going on?
At the end of this like chase, her wounds opened up again, but like when Jaqen like sees her, isn't she just like walking fine?
Yeah, she's fine.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, she went and found
She's-
another person to fix her up.
She's walking to the port to see Gendry. Gendry's gonna row up, and Arya's just gonna stomp on and be like, "Turn back!" And Gendry's just gonna be like,
She grafted some of the waif's skin to heal her wound.
She put all the couscous
Gross.
in her wound. It heals all wounds.
Is it not gross enough that she just sawed off the waif's face? Like,
Yeah, it was not
Like-
too delicate.
I mean, for
She's
the
like,
faceless men, that sounds par for the course, right?
that's but they have a whole like we saw. There's like it's a very like they have a procedure for it and they take care. And like she clearly just murdered her in the dark and then clawed her face off.
Oh my god, guys, just what did Arya learn? What has she learned from this whole like 2 seasons in Braavos?
she can kill people in the dark now.
She-
Yeah,
that is-
yeah, that's it.
God,
That's it.
she can't.
She's now a ninja.
I guess she does.
She can
not.
saw off people's faces.
She doesn't have the faceless men magic, right?
Nope.
So that's all. She like learned to fight a little better.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the dark.
In the dark.
God.
She never took another face. I assume she knows a little bit more about how to disguise herself and how to read people, although the faceless men are
poisons.
really not good at reading people. We just learned that.
I mean, it
Yeah.
could have essentially just gone her going, Jaqen, will you finish teaching me? And he'll be like, no, you've had the power inside you all along.
Pretty much. I guess this was more of like when we get to another scene, she's just gonna be like, well, I learned what not to do when assassinating someone, so maybe now I know how to do it a little better.
Never run after getting stabbed in the stomach on multiple times, and don't trust old women on the street.
Yeah, and if you're disguised as an old woman and you stab someone, don't rip your face off in public. You know?
Yeah, the waif is like the worst assassin ever. She's the
worst.
Very obvious.
Yeah.
Did anyone think it weird that Lady Crane turned out to be a little murdery? She's like, I stabbed my lovers when they came home.
And then mended them back up.
I felt like at that moment they picked the wrong actress. They needed someone with like crazier eyes or something. Because she was just like, yeah, I'm real jealous. And when they come home, sometimes I just cut things off and I have to sew it back on, all right? It's like, dang.
It's almost like they did that to make us feel less bad when they killed her. Because I was, if they'd, I guess, like, if they just kept her, like, a nice lady, I probably would have felt more. But now it's like, whatever. She had a few screws loose, and not in the good way.
She was
deserved
kind
death
of
by chair.
a violent abuser.
I think I know why she was supposed to be poisoned at the beginning. Because she just stabs people.
Well, and also, did she, like, throw, like, boiling water or acid on the other girl's face? She's like, oh, with what I did to her face, like, she won't be an actor anymore.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
She just took a knife and...
Yeah, that other actress might have been a hero, and we'll never know her story now.
I mean, the other actress did try to have her killed, so she's no angel either.
Like her brother.
But perhaps she really was evil.
Yeah, her brother could have been the one who got cut up real bad, and she's like, I gotta save people.
Yeah. So she took her time. She learned the craft. She joined the acting troupe. And she made enough money to hire a faceless man. And unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough to hire a real faceless man.
She got the waif, the stupid intern.
No, she got Arya.
She got Arya. And no, but the waif was there just like creepily. Like, what has the waif's job been in this whole season? Like, she hasn't gone out killing people. It's just been to train Arya and stalk Arya and make sure her training was going well.
Just take everything very personal with Arya's training. Be an antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least should have Arya, pretty much.
At least Arya realized her destiny that she wants to go hang out with the Farwinds on Lonely Light and be warring into Zamorkas on the west of Westeros to the end of the world.
Oh boy. I think we did, guys.
Okay, so I think that wraps it up. So join us next week when we go over episode 9, which looks to be all in the north, and it is titled, oh gosh, what is it? Is this the real title?
Bastards.
Battle of the
Bastards.
Apparently, that's what it's titled. We'll see if that's real. Yeah, so thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
I hope Zach's okay.
Yeah, I hope Zach's okay.
Come back.
I'm right here, guys.
Zach Finger is plotting in the background somewhere.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.